Transformation Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with a dear friend, Sue Cimino. And hi, Sue, how are you?
I'm great, Kathy. How about you?
Oh, I'm so glad to introduce you to everyone. Sue Cimino is an angel in disguise. She's in human form, but well, what I know of you. Um, she has done amazing energy work that transforms you painlessly and in an angelic way. And I hope that she'll be talking a little bit about that. Plus, she's a new author last year, of this great book, and we'll be talking about that too. So, hi, Sue. How are you today?
It's a good day. Thank you very much for taking this time to interview me. I love it.
Oh,
And
great.
everybody out there watching.
Uh-huh. Well, Sue, tell us a little bit about, now I'm calling the process that I originally did, and I guess it's like 5 years, was it 5 years ago or 4 years ago? I mean, it's been a long time.
It's been at least 4, yeah.
Was called Whole Being Alignment. And what it did, what I remember that it did, because I don't remember all of it, was it cleared other agreements and other oaths and other commitments that I had made previous when I first came in as a soul, correct?
Yeah, it actually goes for that stuff that's in the unconscious mind that affects our lives. It affects our health. It affects the experiences we draw to ourselves. And we don't really know what's down in there. And it has such an effect on us. Things like bleed through from past lives or energies that are messing with us, some really unusual stuff. But we might want to, because we're talking about something that's more unusual, I would imagine people would like to know where it came from.
Yes. Oh, yes. Your journey is fascinating. I'm before she says that, Sue lived in a Course in Miracles community for 8 years. Now, if you know what a Course in Miracles is, it is all about forgiveness. Now, if you can imagine working on forgiveness every day for 8 years, you can see why I call her an angel. Anyway, I had to tell them that before you forgot. And Elsie's on. And said that she wanted you to know hi to two of my very most favorite women. And Eve's Nagar is here watching from Korea.
Hi.
So yeah, isn't that cool? So anyway, I just had to brag about you a little bit.
Well, definitely the Course in Miracles played a huge part of the work that I now do. In fact, when I look back on my life, I can see everything was leading me to the purpose that I now have. Although I was almost 60 by the time I found my purpose, I was always searching. And in that process, I was told to go to Tasmania. And people were telling me I was being called by the Aboriginals, but I discovered that wasn't exactly right. But as I traveled in Tasmania, this would be 10 years ago, I started having all these mystical experiences, and I encountered I'll have to, it's a consciousness involved with creation. They're not really beings, but they've been major in the whole evolutionary process for us as humans. And they've been working with us, whispering to us for eons, trying to help us move forward. And they contacted me. Apparently, we've got work to do together. And it all came through one night. While I was writing in my journal, I was just writing about my journey. And the next morning I looked at it and I knew it wasn't from me, the last 12 pages, because it had ideas that I knew, but it was interwoven with all of these things that I'd never known or thought of, and in ways, and they really were telling me about the glitches or the issues that humans have on various levels that are keeping us from moving forward. And we're in this time of great change. And, so many of the people that are evolving and growing, you feel like you're banging up against yourself or working against yourself. Something's blocking you and you don't know what it is. So it took a few years until I found out I had Lyme disease. And at this time, I'm living in Australia. living in Tasmania, and my brain stopped functioning. I thought I had dementia, and I was way too young for that. And
Wow.
I was given this process, the whole being alignment, that I now call the wholeness alignment process because somebody trademarked the other name.
Yeah, I still want to call it whole being alignment.
No, I know, me too. But one of these days that'll all sort out. But this was downloaded to me. One of my clairvoyant friends said, pay attention. And if you have a whim to go outside the protocol, because I was doing healing with an expensive bioresonance machine, she said, go with it because you're being guided. And a friend of mine came from the US with Lyme. And while I was working with her, this process landed.
Right.
And the results were shocking. And I haven't told anybody this yet, but I used to be an accountant. So I have a very logical, rational, detail-oriented side. And I used to be an auditor. I needed to prove things to myself. Fortunately, I had this expensive bioresonance machine that could measure what was in the body. And so I tested my friend before and after we did the process. And I couldn't believe the results, but I couldn't argue with the machine.
Right.
And then when her symptoms started to go away, it was like the unbelievable became undeniable. So I did it with myself. My Lyme was healed. I've worked with many people since then. But what was interesting is as I worked with people, I'm not giving you room to say a word edgewise. Sorry, Kathy.
Oh, no, please go. I can tell you what's going on later.
Okay. Well, as I was working with people, it's like as I work with people, that's my training ground because this consciousness still works with me every single time. And so people are always asking me, are you reading this, what you're telling me while we're doing the session? And it's like, no, I'm so in there and present with your being, your whole being. And they started to show me how susceptible humans are to being intruded by energies and entities. They showed how the bleed through from past life is enormous. It is why we keep drawing the same relationships to us, or why we are suddenly terrified of drowning or fire or rape or whatever without ever having that experience. Right. Or why we fall madly in love with somebody instantly or dislike. But as I would encounter all these really unusual things with different people, they would always show me how to move through it really simply and easily.
Right.
So even when it's something that does not have good intentions, I don't have to fight it because I work it's like grace is what I've been given access to. And I could call it many things. It's that divine unconditional love. I could call it agape. Grace is the easiest term, and I want to steal that back from religion so people don't put it in a religious box. But in that state of grace, we have so much help, love, support, and it allows us to undo these things from the past. You mentioned it, it's like breaking agreements. When we break these agreements, it unravels the karma and the effects on both sides of the equation. And that's amazing.
Right.
Do you want me to
I want to tell you that Pamela Jane Gerard is on, and Eve said he's watching from Thailand, not Korea, sorry. And he says it's definitely less nervous watching instead of speaking this time. He's been on Conscious Business Zone before. And then Zach Bergen is here and Kabir is here. So I haven't gotten any questions for you right this second, but wanted you to know. I want the audience to know that what the story that Sue is talking about is the story that's covered in her book, which is called The Ancient Ones Are Calling Us. And it says, learning to listen changed my life. And Sue Cimino. So I wanted to make sure that people knew that they could get the full story.
And what I want people to know about that, I was always surrounded by spiritual people that could hear, could see. They were clairvoyant, claircognizant, astrologers, whatever. And I always felt like a rock because I wasn't having any of that experience. And so I share that story because it's how I got so that I would trust my own way of knowing, which is different from everyone else. I
Right.
discovered I was wired different, that I know things different. And it took me a really long time to trust that. Fortunately, I had people that were validating what I was getting. But
Right.
we're in a time and space where I really want to encourage people to start trusting their own inner knowing, however they know it. And that book is a lot of encouragement.
Right.
It's
Right.
my story, but it's also helping people believe that it's possible that those little like those little instant flashes or those niggly feelings, the gut instincts, the signs and synchronicities around them, that they're all guiding them. They're valid. They're showing them and leading them on the path that they chose for themselves before they came.
So we've got Noelle and Bob are on, and Elsie's on. So we've got Noelle and Bob said, Grace, that's a wonderful gift. And Eve says, congratulations on your book, Sue. And Noelle and Bob said, a fascinating read, highly recommended.
Thank you.
And Elsie said, love the book, important for all of us.
Thank you. That's really nice.
That's nice that the audience, thank you.
Well, I have a lot of people that write me and say, oh my God, I feel like a rock too. It gave me hope, and, so I love that. I love the responses I've been getting. Thank you all for commenting.
Yes. Well, the thing that you can hear in Sue's voice, there's a resonance in her voice that is something very powerful, that the frequency of it shifts your being very quickly and painlessly, where some of the other processes that people do that help you clear your obstacles to your own light are they're complicated, or they cause you to have pretty drastic changes. What Sue does is a very gentle, loving process that is quite profound. So could you tell some other examples? I mean, you mentioned something about someone who had Lyme disease and that you had a big shift with them. Could you suggest or share some other important experiences that people had after doing this process with you?
I'd love to. And if I can just take a moment and quickly say how the process feels.
Okay.
It's like being in an altered state, or like a light hypnosis or a guided meditation, and you're conscious. I'm talking to you. I ask you questions as I'm working, because everything that we do is by your conscious agreement or choice. That's important. I don't make any decisions for you. And what the big decision that you're making is to align all of yourself with your divine self, so that everything will work as a team and help you to move forward on your path. Now, the experiences that people have, initially, it was the health that I really noticed. And I'm going to give an example of every single cell in your body is new within a year. Some of it's every 3 weeks. I think the bones might take longer than a year. But if they're all new cells, why are we sick? Why do we age? They're new cells. Like, what's going on? And what I came to know is there's some sort of overlay or programming that's asking it to have cancer or be sick or to grow old. And when we make this choice to align, it peels back that programming. And so it's like the Lyme, the mercury, and whatever the diseases begin peeling away. Now, occasionally somebody will have some other issue, so I took hypnotherapy to start dealing with that. But I'll give you some examples. I had one woman who came for Lyme, but one of the things that I love that she wrote me a week later was, oh my God, my relationship with my mother is entirely different. I work with a lot of people who have family patterns, and that's an agreement that you carry through lifetimes, and you've basically agreed to carry this pattern by being born into this family. And when we break those agreements, and we are allowed to break those agreements, and we actually help the rest of your family, things start feeling really different for you. Like your anxiety and worry may suddenly be gone. You stop
Yay.
attracting abusive people.
Yay.
I tell you what, no, I know it's all really fun.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. Right?
For some people, it's really subtle. Like they may not notice the changes even 3 or 4 months out. Most people have like a deep sense, like, oh, something is really different. One of my clients just 2 weeks ago said, "Oh my God, I think you saved my life."
Wow.
Yeah, is especially when you get to some of the things that interfere with us. We don't have a conversation in this society to deal with those in a way that's not fearful. And when some of those things start disappearing, I remember one of my Lyme clients is saying to me, "What's this dark man in the left side of my body that's hitting me, cutting me, and yelling at me?" That was my first entity. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to deal with this, but this consciousness showed me exactly how to assist in a way that was quick and easy and gone.
Oh, that's what's amazing, Sue, is how fast this works. It's quite profound, but it's so like you make it simple and easy and fearless. That's what I would like to say. And I have to tell you what, here we go. Pamela Jane Gerard said, yes, in my sessions with Sue, the frequency of grace comes through her voice and being so powerfully, gently, and with love. And let's see, there's a conversation going on with Zach and Noelle and Bob, and I'll get to that later. But I just wanted to let you know that that you're getting some validation from the audience, that the people that have experienced your work, they don't have to have had a physical disease. They may want to just be more whole and complete to feel all the energy that they can in their life and be more aligned with themselves.
Well, it took a while for me to really understand wholeness and that that's what they're trying to help people reach. But wholeness is a state of being whole and complete, unbroken and undamaged. And when you're whole, life unfolds so much easier and better. When you're not whole, you feel like you're working against yourself or that you're being blocked, like you can't move forward. Right. So my work has shifted some, and I'm getting more and more people that are looking for their purpose. They know they have one, and they might have found it, they might not, but they feel like they can't get there. And this process, and it's usually like 2 or 3 hours, sometimes a little longer, depending on what comes up, but we can do a major clearing in one session. Like the wholeness alignment process is one session. And then occasionally there are other things, and it has to do with the emotions. We carry certain emotional issues that we have to deal with in this life. And those I can't just sweep away. People will generally call me back, and sometimes in a half hour, an hour, it's really easy. We can just look at it consciously and then make choices that shift that. Mm-hmm. And people have been having really amazing results in that process. I love that. So it's not one of those things where you come for 10 sessions and you do it again and do it again and do it again.
Oh, yeah, no, you don't. You can do it different. You can do the next layer or a new subject, or, hey, I've got this project. I mean, you can go down deep to see what it is that would allow you to be in full power, in full conscious choice to do whatever you have decided as a creator you want to do. So I want to give you, I'm sorry to interrupt you again.
Let me just say one thing really quick, because you said about going deep, but I want people to know it's not like a wallowing, go down in there and really feel it all. It's almost like a looking down over it and seeing the pattern that's being cleared, and then it's gone. And so it's not a big emotional thing.
Right. Well, what I with the conversation that's going on in the thread that you can't see right now is Zach was saying that and it's gone from my screen, of course, but he's talking about that he feels that there aren't ancient ones, that we have this illusion of being separate, and that if we just get rid of the separate, illusion, we're just fine. But I don't know that it matters how you get to the information or how you access it for the good of all. This is giving people an incredible opportunity to choose fully, where they're not blocked with fears and emotions and things that no longer serve them, because you're only releasing the agreements and the obstacles that no longer serve them.
Not in alignment with your divine self.
That's right.
That's the criteria. If it's not in alignment, if it's not serving you, if it's not part of your purpose in this life, then do you want to get rid of it? And
Right.
when you say yes, then they work on it. And
Right.
it's the light and grace that does the work. I'm just blabbing.
And Elsie's saying it's very peaceful. That's what I have to, that compared to a lot, I love doing lots of different processes. And this process, though, is so profound because it is so simple and it's so complete. I mean, it's rare. I've seen people have a process and then the next day quit their crappy job that they couldn't quit for years and were transformed in one session. So it's not just your health, it's your well-being and your consciousness.
And it's usually very gentle. I have had a couple that are a little bit more chaotic, but I started to ask, okay, let this be gentle, because one woman that came with Lyme was living in a moldy apartment with rats. The pipes broke, and the neighbors were dealing drugs, and she didn't want to leave. She was fighting. And so it was rough for her until she got that she could not live there anymore. And when she moved, everything was fine.
Wow.
I've had another woman who did not want to give up a relationship, but it was losing ground. Because what happens once we align you with your divine self, if you have something in your life that's not in alignment, it's going to get more and more uncomfortable until it falls away.
Right.
At the same time, more things will show up that will help you move forward. I've had people the next day get a call from a casting director in New York wanting them to be in a play, or, just really unusual things. Or they may suddenly find a particular kind of healer that's perfect for what they need. Go ahead. You've got something you want to.
Oh, well, Elsie said, when I worked with Sue, I felt very peaceful. And, Zach, do you want me to read what Zach said? He said, in my opinion, there are no ancient ones. Every facet is here every instant. There are only the timeless collective. There is only the timeless collective. It is ever present. Sure, we each have our own path, yet I've gotten past the time thing and realized that everything is here now, and we need only align to or remove the blocks, including illusions of ancient beings.
I don't disagree at all, because they're here now. They're not ancient. And for me, they were always the circle of consciousness involved with creation, but that's too big for the front of a book title. And so, right. So it was like, okay, I'll call them ancient ones because they've been here. They were whispering to Lemuria, the Atlanteans, and all the other times that we've destroyed ourselves. But what I was told when I was in Tasmania, when I was writing in my journal that night, was that this time we can get through, that there's ways to reposition those issues within our design so that we don't spin out of control again. So I'm really excited. It's how I know, how I was given my purpose and know what I'm here to do is help people find their own wholeness. Wonderful. And then do what they're here to do. I don't care what it is. Like, what your purpose is not my issue. I just want you to be free and clear so that you can go after it and share your gifts with the world, follow your path, do what you're here to do. It will make you so happy.
Right. The joy and the energy that's opened up for creativity is remarkable. So, Sue, I also wanted you to talk a little bit about the free gift. So Sue, not only does she have the book and she does these sessions, she also has a free gift that I'm putting up the website, and I'll put it also in the comments. that you can get. If, and could you explain a little bit about the free gift so they could?
I will, because I want people to be able to find their wholeness. And I know I'm not the only person on the planet that's been given technology designed to help people do this. And so I wanted to offer some suggestions for how people can start the process of finding their wholeness until they find a practitioner or work with me or download it from the ethers. I'm working on making it downloadable directly. But so what I came up with was 7 profound ways to jumpstart your journey into wholeness. And it's just a few suggestions. I also recorded a 7-minute audio that's not really a meditation, but it's designed to listen to in the morning to make some choices, make some very clear choices that you want wholeness, that you're ready and are calling in your wholeness, that you want to align with your divine self, because we are so much more powerful than we have any idea about.
Right.
And we totally underutilize the creative power of our mind and our intentions. And so this is my way of sort of suggesting that people start pulling in some intentions that will lead them to the practices, the people, the opportunities that are going to bring them to that wholeness place. It talks a little bit about forgiveness, about blessing others, gratitude, but the audio is something that it's just 7 minutes, so it's not a big time commitment, but I think if people would do that regularly, it would start making the ground fertile for having the opportunities to move into wholeness.
Well, this is Conscious Business Zone, and so this is how you make conscious choices every morning. You could easily put that in your ritual of your morning ritual, if for 7 minutes or 10 minutes, if you gave yourself a little break afterwards just to let it ground, and make better choices to show up completely. That every single person is a piece of the puzzle, the divine puzzle. We all, this is why I'm doing these series of interviews. I have been working with these magical people for years, and I want to share them to my audience, because why struggle anymore? These people are magical. They're easily available. They give from their heart. I mean, I don't know if you can sense from Sue's energy in her voice. She is pure love. She is offering pure love. And where do you get that in your regular life? It's just not readily available. Let's go to the gas station and fill up with pure love. You just don't have it. So I mean, if you're struggling in any way and you want some help to get more conscious and to show up completely in your brilliance, this process that Sue does, in 2 hours you can feel, seriously, when you say that's about true, in 2 hours you can shift your life.
I think that's true. I think we haven't really talked about the agreement breaking, but the fact, that's a whole other can of worms. I don't know if what we should.
Go ahead.
I had memories of being tortured in a past life.
Uh-huh.
And one of my psychic friends did a regression on me and took me before it happened and asked me what I wanted to do. And without thinking, out of my mouth came, I want to break the agreement. Immediately, it unraveled in the consciousness, and I could feel it unravel, me, the rock. And she's like, oh my God, your entire soul group is cheering and celebrating. But when I went back into the exact situation that triggered those memories, it was like a picnic on a spring day, like it was totally gone. And it was really gradual through the years that they kept showing me we could break these agreements. So that was the major foundation for this work, because I thought if we can break agreements, we should be able to make new ones.
Right.
I want to say one more thing too. I have my guides of this consciousness. It's been really on my case because it wants me to start helping people build a foundation in grace. If that's your go-to place, if that's the place you're rooted into, even if you're in this chaotic world, it is amazing what can unfold. I've been in situations where I close my eyes and sink into grace, like it's a chaotic situation, and I go there, I open my eyes, and it's like all changed.
Yeah, because it's everything from the inside is really creating the outside. So if you're chaotic, it's the time to breathe in
Right.
and restructure this reality outside, right?
Right. And so what they've encouraged me to do is to start like really reasonably priced mentoring programs so that people call me up when they've got something that's bothering them, so that it's not all spiritual talk and let's be politically correct. It's like, oh my God, I'm so pissed off or upset or whatever, or confused. And we do that. We look at that and then go into grace with that so that it starts really taking the grace and pulling it down into everyday life and dealing with everyday life. And it's been really phenomenal. It's been really fun watching
I think,
how this jump starts people.
Sue, I think what's cool about it, okay. I missed the beginning. Nancy Woodward, who's a friend. I missed the beginning. We'll listen to replay. Sue, you are awesome, she said. Thank you, Nancy. And I would love to connect with you, Sue said, or Nancy says. So, I'm going to go back to the concept that what you're doing is, it's almost a remembering.
Absolutely. People.
Yeah, I mean, because what happens is you get to that frequency again, and it's like, oh, I forgot that was there underneath all this other stuff, and then you can use it. So it's you uncover the gunk that maybe was supposed to be an agreement for when you were 2 years old, but you don't need it at 62, and then then you can start getting back to that divine center of who you really are and show up completely. And I mean, it's just amazing. It's so amazing.
It is a remembering and it's a resetting into your divine essence. Absolutely. I totally agree.
Okay. Well, Sue, is there anything else? I know Nancy's going to contact you from what she said here. Is there anything else that you'd like to share here? We shared about your free gift, and I'll show that again, and I'll put it in the comments. That is suesimino.com/free. But is there anything else how they should contact with you? Or
yeah, they're being prompted. I can also do the alignment process in small groups. And I am very happy to travel. I travel across the US all the time. I'll even go to other countries. But if you have a small group, even your family, and want to do this process, it's easy to do through Zoom. I do a majority of my clients through Zoom or Skype and have had Lyme even. That was my proof that it was working.
Well, but you had Lyme and then you cured yourself.
But I've shared people's Lyme over the internet, like doing it. And that, what, you know, I was an accountant. I like to prove things to myself. And when I had that proof, because I met the woman 2 weeks later and tested her blood, and it's like, okay, you know I'm good. So
wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. Well, is there anything else so they can connect with you on your website at suesimino.com, which we'll put in here, and then they can catch you on Facebook. They can connect with you and message you here, right?
Yes.
Is there anything else? Anything else you'd like to share? I know do you have a YouTube channel where they might?
It will be up soon.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I just did a TED style talk that was videotaped, and so it's being edited right now, and it will be up and be like a good foundation in what I do. And I want to start putting in small live things that talk about the various issues people can have, just to give people a deeper understanding but without having to tell people everything. So
Right, right. But you have to understand what a generous soul Sue is. I mean, she really takes her divine mission to heart, that she wants to help as many people get whole and complete. And so I highly recommend her work, and her book is an easy, fun read. It's fast and you're right there with her. And I mean, she even was in the circus.
don't tell all my secrets.
Well, I know, but oh my God,
before, but
she really loved film and joined the circus, really.
the second book is about 80% done, so hopefully it'll be out in the next few months.
Oh, great. That's so cool. Well, thank you everyone for coming. And thank you, Sue, so much for sharing. Oh, and Nicole is here. Love the work Sue offers. She is amazing.
Thank you.
You have a group on Facebook, so people are really connecting and seeing the value of what you do. And I really hope that as many people as possible, if those of you that are watching, if you could share this video so more people get to know about Sue's magnificent work, I would really appreciate it. And the comments help. I'll go back and talk to the comments as much as I can. So thank you all. And thank you, Sue. I just love you dearly. And I'm so glad I know you. And your work is just what we need. It's just forever. Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And I'm really grateful for everything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, everyone, we're going to sign off now. Thank you. And thank you all for coming.